What's going on, Matt here again in Memorial. We're at Memorial's Takeover, brought to you by VYPE. All right, Coach, really good season this year. When did you see this kind of senior group coming together to, have a successful season, get into the playoffs?
Actually, towards the end of last season, they were beginning to gel a little bit, and it didn't come to fruition in terms of getting into the playoffs. But then, through the offseason, they worked well together. Now, we had a rough start, and we do play a pretty tough schedule, but we had a rough start, but they were readily improving. So I'd say probably at the end of last season, I felt like we had a good shot. And then, of course, when you win 4 in a row, you feel like, we're in pretty good shape now.
Who were some of the biggest surprises that you had during the season?
Our offensive line really gelled and started to play well, and that was a big surprise for us. Well, not a surprise, but let me put it a different way. It was more of a something that really was a catalyst for us, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And then in the secondary, we had a young man named Kane Tullis that stepped up and made some really big plays. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't say that our starting linebacker, Nick Haas, who you already took a photo of and was an all-district player the year before, really, when he was hurt for our first 3 games, and let me correct that, 4. And when he came back, our defense really, really gelled and started to play well. We were difficult to score on.
I mean, you've been around Houston for several years.
Well, I've been here for 27 years.
Exactly. I wasn't going to say that. But, okay, let's say 3 decades.
Okay.
How has Houston football changed? Because you've seen virtually the greatest teams that have kind of come through the city of Houston. But how has football changed over that period of time?
Really, the X and O's aspect of it have changed a little bit more than anything else. And then with the advent of social media and so forth, that everyone's so accessible, and you know so much about everybody, and you're not really keeping anything secret from anyone anymore. And the biggest thing for me, and I'm not really on those platforms, not something that I do, but you have to deal with that aspect of it, about their accessibility, and that everyone knows what they're doing all the time. So that aspect of it. But generally speaking, the thing that's the same, the kids want to be coached, they work hard, they love the game, and they play hard. And
all right.
That's what's fun.
And finally, who should we be looking out for next year? I know it's kind of early, but who should we be looking out for next year to kind of be the leaders of Memorial?
Next year, the 2 young men that we're in today, Sean Sheets on the defensive side of the ball, Carson Zahn on the offensive side of the ball, and Carson's only really going to be a junior next year. And then in the offensive line, a young man named George Eubanks should really be able to help us. And on the defensive side, Jack Dragna, defensive lineman, really are going to be probably our leaders.
All right, tremendous season. District, finished 2nd in district.
Actually, we were 4th in district, but and got to the area round.
2 rounds deep in the playoffs. Great season. We'll see y'all next year. See you at the games.